the 2023 Daviess County Swine Show, Daviess County 4-H Swine Show, I should say. And we're going to begin this program this evening. And John, if you could open that gate for me, please, so these girls can get through. And Addie Claire Smith will lead us in the 4-H, in the American flag. Addie, would you come over here, please? Come right. And just go ahead and start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Very good, girls. Very good.
So we'll be beginning our show with the two classes of mini exhibitors, and we haven't made a call for those, so it'll take just a few minutes for them to get up to the ring. So if you're in Class 1 mini, go ahead and bring your animals to the makeup area. Class 1 to the makeup area, mini show. And the young lady giving the 4-H pledge was Kiana Smith. So thank you to Addie Claire and Kiana Smith for leading those pledges. Our judge this evening is Kyle Pullen. Kyle is from Walton, Indiana. He was on the judging team at Black Hawk and at Western Illinois University. He raises Duroc show pigs with his wife Lindsay and has two boys, Cashton and Cody, and is a sales director for Walton Webcasting. And we certainly welcome Kyle to the show here today. As we have made a few changes in the facilities over the last 2 or 3 years, just a reminder that the concessions and the restrooms are located in the food court here on the west end of the arena. We also have a lemonade shake-up stand with popcorn and pop manned by the junior leaders over in the southwest corner. If you're in mini show class 2, please go ahead and come to the makeup area. Mini class 2 to the makeup area. Into the ring now is Graham Baker. Okay. Carson Hastings. Brooks Arms. Jonathan Brower. Colson Parsons. Who we got? Riker Adams. Noah Stone Hall. And Maya Murphy.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and a beautiful night here for a hog show. And we're firing up with the mini 4-H and an excellent set of kiddos. And one of the most important things about 4-H is the youngsters coming in and for the next 10 years. And so if you would, please put your hands together for all these guys on a job well done. When you see them back in the barn, tell them an excellent job buying them a lemonade shake-up. An excellent job. Let's give them all a big round of applause again when they exit the building, please.
Right this way, right here. Coming in now is Madison Wagler. Briggs Bullock. Landry Baker. Logan Yoder. Reed Steiner. Skyla Stone Hall. Elsie Hooker. And Sydney Hanna. And let's go ahead and bring our Berkshire already here. Good for you guys. You're ahead of the game. Let's go ahead and bring our purebred Durocs for Class 2 to the makeup area. Class 2 Durocs to the makeup.
Excellent group once again, and a set of youngsters that's got a bright future. And if you would, please encourage all these guys here tonight when you see them or tomorrow and throughout the fair. Once again, give them a great round of applause as they come back to the barn.
Again, in our second class, we had Landry Baker, Skyla Stone Hall, Reed Steiner, Elsie Hooker, Madison Wagler, Briggs Bullock, Sydney Hanna, and Logan Yoder. We'll begin our first class of purebred gilts with the Berkshires. We have 2 entries. And the banner for that champion is donated by J. Hastings Family Welding, which I assume is Joe.
Nice class of Burt Gilts here to fire up with, and I think a good pair that the showmen do a nice job with. Gilts that are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and this is a class here that there's not one that absolutely has to win, and a guy can make an argument either way. The one that just suits me the best is the young ladies in front of me. I think this one just ties together the best on their profile, without a doubt. She has the most extension from her blade forward. I think her body and design and proportions is on point. She is not as heavy structured as the gilt in second, and that's where I just like to see her a shot stouter there in her forearm and definitely in her rear foot going away. And that's where the young man in second has the advantage. I think this gilt is big-footed, heavy structured, really stout in her skull, and one that's opened up in her rear flank. I guess she comes with a few issues for me, and right out of behind her blade needs to tie in better. She needs to be fresher at the top of her chine bone, and then I'd like to see her go square going away. But both gilts got a whole lot of good, a lot of value. If you would, put your hands together. These two young showmen on a job well done.
So your first place in champion Berkshire exhibited by Brooklyn Wagler, and the reserve champion exhibited by Brent Barber. We're now ready for Class 2. We have 4 entries in the Duroc division, and that banner is donated by Extreme Show Supply. Assisting us with ribbons this evening are Addison Giesler. She's the daughter of Cammie Giesler and Jason Giesler. She's a member of the Country Cougars 4-H Club, a recent North Daviess grad, and plans to attend Ball State for zoology. And also helping is the Indiana Poland China Queen, Chloe Graber. And Chloe is a daughter of Cliff and Gwen Graber, and we thank both of them for helping us this evening. And let's go ahead and bring our Class 4 to the makeup area and Class 5 to the makeup area.
Good set of red gilts here in this class, and one that needs to win and does so pretty easily. Young man 144 is a gilt that's just simply the heaviest duty, but more importantly puts it on this, a sound and functional skeleton. She's one that's really opened up in her forerib, ties together there in her flank, and when you get on top of her, she's got plenty of spread and dimension, working throughout. She's not probably the coolest head and necked one in the class. But I think the rear 2/3 she offers the most value. Young lady here in front of me goes in second, and this one looks younger. This one looks like her best days are still ahead of her, and you let her just bulk up and wolf, and I think it gets a little bit closer out here. Gilt that just needs to settle down in the ring just a little bit, and I think she'll open up her stride. The structure's there. She is sharper headed. She is better from her blade forward. I like the angulation to her shoulder better as well. However, she does not have the bulk, she doesn't have the density, and I don't think she opens up her rear stride as good as our champion, but a good pair, and I think both of these bring a lot of good and value to the table. Young man 223, the closest one to me, goes in third, and that one's silhouette and profile I think is extremely good. I really like her from her blade forward. I think her extension through the front 1/3 is very good. Good design, good proportion type of a gilt. She's not as dense as a few of these in this particular class, and that's what sorts her in the third. Young man there to the far left goes in fourth, and a gilt that I think ties together some positives. She just comes in a few more pieces. I don't think she's as good out of her hip and hind leg, and that's kind of what sorts her into four. Congratulations. If you would, put your hands together for all four of these exhibitors.
And Class 2 purebred Durocs, first place Blake Barber, followed by Addison Holstein, Rowdy Perkins, and Lane Peachy. We're now ready for our purebred Hereford. We have a single entry in that division. And banner is donated by Joe Hastings Family Welding.
Just a single entry Hereford gilt, but the young lady does a good job out here, and I think a gilt that brings some value to the table, especially for the breed. One that does come with some bulk and some dimension up high. She's extended from her blade forward. Young lady does a very nice job. If you would, help me congratulate her on a job well done.
And your purebred Hereford is exhibited by Brooklyn Wagler. Our next class, Class 4, is purebred Poland China. We have, again, a single entry. Let's go ahead and bring our Class 6 lightweight crossbred gilts to the makeup area. Class 6 to the makeup area.
Once again, just a single entry here in the Poland division, but the young lady does a very good job with this one, and without a doubt, a Poland gilt that can withstand some heat for the breed. She's very dense in her bone work. I think a gilt that's extra good in her fore-ribbon flank and ties together pretty good out of the backside of her blade. If you would, help me congratulate her on a job well done and a very good Poland gilt.
And your Class 4 champion Poland, exhibited by Braley Bennett. We're now ready for Yorkshires, and we have 3 entries in the Yorkshire division. And that banner is donated by Edward Jones, Tara Parsons.
A nice class of Yorkshire gilts here, and I think a pair of them that surface to the top relatively easily. I think they're both on the same make and mold and pattern from the side, and they both need to go better away. But the young man there in the dark blue, number 11, will have our class winner and champion today. I think this gilt is one that just excels, and when she comes right at you, she's the most opened up in her chest. She's the best in her knee, and I think a gilt that you sure have to appreciate that one's side profile and balance that she has to offer. Like I said earlier, that one does need to square up in her hock and going away, but the young man does a very good job. That one's presentation and build from the side is very, very good. Young lady has one in second today, and that one probably has a shot more foot and bone. That one's a shot more rugged and stout in her forearm, and I think probably has more spread up high. I guess I'm not as comfortable when you step right in behind her. I feel like those rear twos bode relatively, maybe a shot too much, and then when she comes right at you, that's really what sorts them. Just need to bring her up on her front toes, but a good gilt. That one's profile, center body dimension extension, turn to her rib, stoutness out of her hip is absolutely on point. Young man does a good job here in third, and I think one that is tall-shouldered, level design, and comes with plenty of stoutness and power, maybe not as comfortable on her feet and legs, and that's what sorts her into third. Congratulations. If you would, give all those kiddos a big hand.
In your Yorkshire division, first place exhibited by Bryce Bennett, followed by Cadence Birch and Jackson Brower. We're now ready for Class 6, or lightweight crossbreds, and need Class 7 to the makeup area. Class 7 to makeup.
Good set of lightweight gilts here, and I think a pair of litter mates, or potential litter mates, I should say, that surface towards the top, and the pair of these that I guess I like and gravitate to more is this young man going away right there, 116. I think this gilt combines most positives without a doubt. The mates go away the best out of their hip and hind leg, and I think function the best with their hock. That one there just has a shot more extension, turn to her top, and I think one that the bigger she gets, the better she's going to get. That's kind of a no-holes female that offers a lot of positives. Young man here in front of me, 3-1 gilt, is going to go in second, and I think one that just comes at you really opened up in her chest. I really like that one out of her blade and turned to her back and stoutness out through her hip. She does not have the extension from her blade forward as a gilt in first does, but I think from their back, she's very close in terms of that one's build and density at this particular size. The young lady there in the pink goes in third, and this one is probably the sharpest dressed one of the bunch. That one's got tons of spread and width and shape up high. She's got monster turn to her rib. I think maybe no bigger than she is a shot full today. She doesn't want to motor quite as well, especially out of that hip and hind leg. I'd like to see her just a shot more agile here in this breeding gilt setting. The other young lady there goes in 4, and I think a gilt that's long-bodied. She's definitely probably the longest necked one of the entire drive. She needs to be stoutened up in her bone work. See that one open up in her forerib just a shot. Young man 83 does a good job out here as well, and I think a gilt that brings a lot of good things to the table. I think that one from her blade forward is probably the most extended of the class. She just needs to come with a shot more bulk, center body, and punch today. Congratulations. If you would, give all these guys a big hand as they head back.
Your lightweight crossbred Class 6, first place Nolan Brower, followed by Bennett Brower, Kendall O'Brien, Jesse Bennett, and Kaysen Smith. We did have one other in that class that was not supposed to be in that class that is in the same way with the next class, so it just will have 5 in the next class also. And you'll see those young people later on. So we're now ready for Class 7, lightweight crossbred gilts. And we need Class 8 to the makeup area, Class 8 to the makeup area.
Good set of gilts here in this class, and a pair here at the top end that I think brings a lot of good things to the table, and I think it's close. There's definitely some give and take, and I really like some things about each one of them. I think the one that combines the most positives is the black gilt here directly in front of me. This one has tons of center body. She's the most opened up in her forerib, very, very stout in her upper skeleton, and especially out through her hip. She's close going away, and I think, you know, maybe just a shot less full. I think that hock sits in there just a shade better, but a gilt that comes at you opened up in her chest floor, one that just combines lots of positives. The young lady there, 161, is in second, and one that profile and build I really, really like, and I think her hind leg, I like her hind leg better than the gilt that wins the class. I guess that flank and that rear deal she's got going on is a pet peeve of mine. It's tough, and it just brings out, they just don't proportion near as good when they got those gland issues. And not picking on her, I had one I battled all year at home, and it stinks when you got them. That's a good gilt going in second. 3 and 4 is close. This young man there in the green shirt goes in 3, and I think a gilt that brings a lot of good things. Very good in her forerib, very stout in her skull. I guess one that when you get in behind her, she doesn't go good enough off of those rear two for me, and maybe doesn't set them down quite as square, but the young man does a good job. That gilt there, rounding things out, is one that's very long-bodied. She's tall at the point of her shoulder and level down her top. Young man does a good job there as well. If you would, help me congratulate all those youngsters on a very good job. Well done.
So in Class 7, we had first was Cale Baker, followed by Emma Yoder, Hayden Baker, and Hayden Tommy. We're now ready for our champion and a reserve champion, lightweight crossbred.
You don't have them very often with the same ear notch and the champion drive, but that's what we got out here now. I think both these young men do a great job, and there's one that I thought coming out of a pretty good class, and there's a pretty good one sitting in behind her, one that brings a lot of positives. That's the young man with the black gilt. He'll be our champion. Congratulations to him.
And your champion in the lightweight is number 119, Cale Baker.
we dropped that gilt that was second in class out, and that's one I described earlier. And I don't like picking on one when they got a problem, but that's where I guess I beat her and what I don't care about her. But that's a pretty good gilt that brings a lot of positives to the table. That young lady's going to be reserved. Congratulations to her.
And your reserve champion lightweight comes from Class 7, Emma Yoder. We need Class 9 to the makeup area. Class 9 to the makeup area.
a really nice class of crossbred gilts, and one that makes it enjoyable as a judge to sort through. And I think all 3 or 4 of these bring a lot of good things to the table, yet I think they all could go structured, just shot differently there from behind. But the one that I think is the best structured is the young lady there in the pink bow in her hair. She's going to be her class winner. I think a gilt that's excellent in her forerib, very good in her flank, and her foot bone and dimension is on point. She's opened up in her chest, she's good in her knee, and within the first 3, she goes away the very best out of her hip and hind leg. Is she perfect? No, but she is the best in this group. For 2 and 3, I think it's close, and a guy can make an argument either way. The one I like second best is the young lady here in the white, one that's extra heavy duty in her structure. She's monster bone. She's very, very stout and rugged every direction. She's not as good looking out of her front end, and that's where she needs to be changed. Definitely need to clean her up there in her throat, but a good gilt that's extra heavy duty. This young lady has a gilt that just doesn't want to be here today, and when she's out here, it looks like that left rear took an injury a while back. She's just wanting to plant and stab on the outside of her skeleton, and that left rear just never sits in there quite as well. In terms of shape, presentation, and extension, she needs to win the class. That one's as big back, bold ribbed, and extended from her blade forward as anything, but that left rear is just way too far on the outside of her skeleton to get any higher. This young man has one that's got a lot of good things, and I think from the base of her hip forward, she can win the class. She's elevated to the top side of her shoulder. She's very extended from her blade forward, ties together extremely good out of her blade. You step in behind her, she's the frailest featured one, and just too wide and round going away. Just simply needs to be squared up from her hock down. Young man coming out next does a good job and kind of falls into a heater class. This gilt's got a lot of good things working for her. She's long-bodied, she's long-sided, she's long-necked. Just needs to come with a shot more punch, a little more horsepower laid into that one. She could move up a couple spots. Young man with the black gilt does a good job. One that's big and bold up high. She's just a little too narrow coming at you. Same thing can be said going away. Congratulations, if you would. Give all those kids a great big round of applause.
From Class 8, first place exhibited by Addison Holstein with an assist by Brayley Bennett, followed by Hannah Yoder. Second animal of Addison Holstein, followed by Cale Baker, Cohen Arms, and Sawyer Baker. We're now ready to bring Class 9 into the ring. We have 4 entries in that class. Let's go ahead and bring our Class 10 to the makeup area. Class 10 to makeup.
kind of an interesting class to put together, and all four of these youngsters do a very, very nice job. The young lady number 6 there is going to win the class, and I think a gilt that combines the most positives. She's very extended from her blade forward and reads with the most shape and turn out of the backside of her blade into a stout hip. Would I deem her perfect structure? No, but I think she brings the most positives to the class. 2, 3, and 4, I guess, is where there's some decisions, and a guy could argue them a few different directions. The young lady in the pink shirt's going to go in second, and one that I think feet and legs and pattern and balance is just a shot better. I think over the gilt here and another potential littermate, maybe just I think just ties together better in her forerib, a shot better in her flank, but a good pair there at the top end. Young man here in this pink shirt goes in third, and that one's just proportion and balance and build and look from the side is extremely good. Needs to come with just a shot more wolf there in her forerib, there in her flank, and going away. Young man has one that has some good parts and pieces, and I think this one's stoutness of skull is extremely good. She has the stoutest forearm, and she has the most spread out of the back of her blade. When you get right in behind her, those rear two are just very questionable, in my opinion. Congratulations. If you would, give all those guys a great big round of applause.
In Class 9, our first place animal is exhibited by Addison Holstein, followed by Adeline Smith, Kason Smith, and Tyson Graber. We're now ready for our champion medium weight crossbred. So from Class 8, we have animal number 121, with Brayley Bennett on the lead. And from Class 9, we have Addison Holstein with animal 123. And the banner for that division is donated by Daviess County Farm Bureau.
Both these young ladies do a very good job, and I think both the gilts bring a lot of good things to the table. There's one that just balance and build and proportions and stoutness, I think, is extremely good. I'd like to see her maybe going just a shade easier out of that front end, but she brings the most positives to the table. That young lady will be our champion. Congratulations to her.
And your champion in the medium weight division is exhibited by Addison Holstein with an assist by Brayley Bennett.
For reserve champion is a gilt that I thought was probably, or that was the deepest class of the day, and I thought coming through that class was tough to do, and both those gilts that was 1 and 2 in class, I like a lot of things about. We're going to keep them together. The young lady in the white shirt's reserve.
And your reserve champion medium weight is exhibited by Hannah Yoder. Our next class will be our Class 10 heavyweight. We have 5 entries, and we need Class 11 to the makeup area. Class 11 to the makeup area. We're just a couple of classes away from showing for Supreme Champion Gilt. And so if you have a Berkshire champion, Brooklyn Wagler, Duroc, Blake Barber, Hereford, Brooklyn Wagler, Poland, Brayley Bennett, Yorkshire, Bryce Bennett, lightweight cross, Cale Baker, medium weight cross, Addison Holstein, and we're still to determine the heavyweight. And if you have a reserve champion in any of those divisions, please have those animals at the ready as if we call you. So after we do the champion heavyweight, we will move to champion crossbred. So you lightweight, Cale, and medium weight, Addison, will need you back at that time.
A good class of heavyweight gilts, and one that I guess sorts very logically in my mind, and a gilt here that needs to win the class. And I'll be honest, that kind of color pattern is one that maybe just doesn't hit a guy exceptionally well, but when you break her down, that one is the squarest in her chest. She's the squarest in her hock and the most mobile. That's the kind of gilt that I guess I like. Just a good built, good made, maybe not excessive everywhere, but very good everywhere. And a gilt here that needs to win this particular drive pretty handily. Young lady in the black shirt goes in second, and a gilt that I think brings a lot of good things to the table. She's tall-shouldered. She's level in her top. She's a shot up right in her blade, and she's not as opened up in her chest floor, and so I think second and third is close, but both those hogs in second, third, bringing a lot of good things to the table. This young man with the black gilt goes in third, and without a doubt, this one's got as much turn and shape and punch out of the backside of her blade. I guess structure is a shot more concerning to me, maybe a little hesitant out of her front end, a shot hesitant going away as well. But that's a good gilt here that came out of a good class, and a young man does a very good job showing. Young lady with the all black gilt and the pink boots goes into fourth, one that has the most bulk and punch and turn up high, maybe a shot more market oriented. When you step right in behind her, those rear two aren't square enough to get much higher today, but skin and hair and very well taken care of, and the young lady does a good job. I just like to redo that one structurally. Young lady 127 does a good job. Alongside a gilt, needs a shot more punch. Congratulations. Let's give all those kids a big hand, if you will.
And Class 10, first place exhibited by Adeline Babrick, followed by Shaylee Graber, Owen Barber, Brooklyn Wagler, and Hannah Dent. We're now ready for Class 11, and we have 6 animals in that class. So if Cale Baker, if you could bring your lightweight cross back to the makeup area, and Addison, if you could bring your medium weight back to the makeup area.
Very good set of gilts here in this class, and one that steps right out of the gate and has that show gilt look and that breeding gilt punch to her. And when she comes out, and you just hope and pray that her hock and hip and hind legs not junk, and it's not. It's very, very good, and as a show judge, it's easy to find those kind. 169 young lady has a very good crossbred gilt here to win this last class. young man here with that black gilt goes in second, and one that I think combines a lot of positives. That gilt's tall-shouldered and has tons of stoutness up high. That one's Hawk, just doesn't sit in her quite as well, but the young man does a good job, and there's nothing wrong having a gilt like that. Just doesn't go good enough to get around our class winner there. 3, 4, and 5, and 6 are ones that I think a guy can make an argument either way. The black belted gilt goes in third, and I think this one is just has a shot more bone and looks like a show gilt. But young man does a good job there. 4, 5, and 6, you know, a guy can make an argument whatever direction, and I'm not going to argue either way. That young man can be fourth, just a good gilt. Young man does a good job. That one can be fifth and does a good job as well. And a young man 103 does a good job. If you would, congratulations. Let's give all those guys a big round of applause on a job well done. Excellent job.
And your Class 11, first place exhibited by Taylor Ferguson, followed by Colin Bennett, Landon Arms, Brody Arms, Blaine Arms, and Brock Arms. We're now ready for our champion and reserve champion heavyweight. So from Class 10, we have Adeline Babrick. And from Class 11, we have Taylor Ferguson. And the banner for that division is donated by Kenny Berry.
If you would, help me congratulate these two young ladies on a very good pair of crossbred gilts. The crossbred game ain't easy. There's a million of them sold every year, and truthfully, very few extremely good ones that make it to the end point, and it's tough. It's tough as a family, it's tough as a showman, it's tough as a breeder to get them good, especially when they're big like this. There's one that hit me awfully hard. I've never been here, and you have no idea what you're walking into. There's one here that's extremely good. That young lady is our champion today.
And so your champion comes out of Class 11, Taylor Ferguson.
We dropped the gilt that was second in class, and I think a gilt that brings a lot of good things to the table, and the young man does a good job. The gilt that hit me extremely hard as well, maybe doesn't have the turn to her back, maybe not quite as square going away, but a very good kind of a gilt. Young lady 211, Blackhead's going to be reserve champion. Congratulations to her.
And from Class 10, your reserve champion heavyweight exhibited by Adeline Babrick. So if we can keep both that champion and reserve available, and we're now ready to have our champion crossbred and reserve champion crossbred gilt. Our next class will be our Supreme Champion gilt. So on Berkshire, we need Brooklyn Wagler, Duroc, Blake Barber, Hereford, Brooklyn Wagler, Poland, Brayley Bennett, Yorkshire, Bryce Bennett. Please to the arena.
Once again, if you will, please congratulate these three youngsters on a job well done. Been a very good crossbred gilt show, and we get them out here together, and all these guys are on their same make and model and pattern. And if a guy's wondering what's the judge going to want in Barras, same type of thing. Not a whole lot of differences, in my opinion. They got to be good built, good balanced, with enough punch everywhere. And I think all three of these represent that and look very good in the size and weight that we are in. There's one that is just an absolute horse and stands out like a sore thumb. Very, very good gilt. That young lady out of her last division as her champion.
And your champion crossbred comes out of the heavyweight division with Taylor Ferguson. And Adeline, if you'll go ahead and bring yours in.
For reserve champion, it is close and close between the two young ladies in the center of the ring, and I can make a good argument either way. And you're sitting around ringside and say, well, that other one needed to be reserved. I ain't going to argue you. I think it's close out here, and I think I know I can make a very good argument either way. There's one that we finally just let her just drive and let her be a pig and get out here and relax, and a gilt that hit me awfully hard in that particular class. And I think structure is better. I think she's going better out of her front end. Young lady with the black head is going to be reserved crossbred.
So your reserve champion crossbred is exhibited by Adeline Babry. We're now ready for our grand champion gilt drive. If we could bring them in, that's fine. We'll start here with the Duroc with Blake Barber. The Berkshire with Brooklyn Wagler. The Hereford, again with Brooklyn Wagler, with an assist by Addie Smith. The Poland with Brayley Bennett. The York with Bryce Bennett. And a crossbred with Taylor Ferguson. If you have a reserve in any of these divisions, we may be calling you, so please be ready.
If you would, help me congratulate all the youngsters out here in our Grand Champion Gilt Drive. Been a very good gilt show, and I'm not going to give a bunch of long speeches tonight. We'll say a few things here at the end of the Bear Show. But you got a great set of kids down here, and an awesome set of showmen, and very, very happy with the gilts. And there's one that hit me very hard, and I've talked to her a few different times, and I don't think can be any argument around the ringside. Without a doubt, she's the best gilt here tonight. That young lady's got her grand.
And the Grand Champion gilt exhibited by Taylor Ferguson. And Adeline, if you'll bring yours in, please. And the banner for Grand Champion Gilt is donated by German American Bank. And for Reserve Grand, it's donated by John and Jody Berry.
For Reserve Grand, I think there's several purebred gilts that bring a lot of good things to the table, but there's one that I felt that was very good, and it's hard to make kind like this, and when you just let her be a pig and get rolling, there's a lot of good things working for her. Young lady's black-headed gilt's going to be Reserve Grand.
And your Reserve Grand comes from the heavyweight cross division and is exhibited by Adeline Babry. Third overall, donated by Daviess County Youth Livestock. All three of those, third, fourth, and fifth.
Third overall is a gilt that I think breed for breed is extremely good, and there wasn't too many of them. But you get her out here, I think is very, very good for a breed. That young lady with the Poland is going to be third overall. Congratulations to her. For fourth overall, or there was not another Poland. Okay. Fourth overall it came out of a pretty good division, I thought, as well, and I think there's two of them that's in contention, and one that I like a lot of things about. Young man's Yorkshire Gilt's going to be fourth overall. Congratulations to him.
So your grand champion is exhibited by Taylor Ferguson, reserve grand Adeline Babrick. Third was Poland, exhibited by Brayley Bennett. And fourth, the Yorkshire, exhibited by Bryce Bennett.
Fifth overall is another one that had to beat a pretty good one in that particular division. A gilt that I think has a lot of good things working for her. Maybe not as agile as the 3 or 4 directly ahead of her. Young man with the Duroc's going to be fifth overall. Congratulations to him.
And that is exhibited by Blake Barber. That does conclude our gilt show. We're going to take about a 5 to 7 minute break. If you want to get a picture, we'll get those pictures. And Tara? We've got a message we'd like for you to hear. If you'll take just a second, please.
I'll fill some time between shows here for just a minute. If I could call your attention here to the arena and to the speaker system, I'll make this announcement each night that we have a show going on, but as you can see, there have been many updates to the facilities that you are enjoying this evening. One of them being the bleachers you're sitting in. If you remember those old green wooden bleachers that we've had for quite some time and hard to get up and down, so the bleachers are just a small part of the updates. The fans you have overhead, the food court you see out here, the mega species barn that houses 3 different species. The hog barn has been updated. The poultry and rabbit barn has been updated, as well as our parking lots. That is in large part to many individual donors, such as yourselves, corporations, different grants that we have received, and it is also a partnership with the city and the county here in Daviess County. So a big round of applause for all of you who have helped make this happen. Thank you. We have one more project that we wish to complete, and it is the only thing that hasn't been touched out here so far, and that is the exhibit building that you have seen the physical projects in. That building is used year-round, not only for 4-H events, but it's used for blood drives, it's used for community events, and we would like to make it more useful. It is a 70-plus-year-old building that is not energy efficient, and we cannot do everything that we would like to do for 4-H and the community with that building as it stands today. So we would ask again for your support. We have a wonderful start. So that building, if we do phase 1 or phase 2, it comes in just under $1 million for phase 1 to put a building back about the same size that it is today. It comes in at about 1.4 if you put a building back that seats 400 or 500 people. So that's a huge goal. We are a good ways towards that. GPC has pledged $500,000 within the last year that they will be donating. So thank you to Kent, Grain, and GPC. We have received a $250,000 economic development grant through their READY initiative. So we have a good start with another $250,000. We're working on more grants, but we'll also be doing a corporate campaign. We have pledges out between the mega species barn and the hog barn. We have a big display that has a graph of what the building is proposed to look like and our project goal for the week. So our project goal for the week is to save or round up, save $65,000 for the week to go towards that goal. So you can see me if you have any questions, but we have one last push. We'd like to have a new building by next 4-H year.
Thank you, Tara. And she stays pretty busy on this project, to say the least. So we'll take another few minutes and then we'll get started with our barrel show. So for you in the hog barn at about 10 till, we'll get started again. So that's about 4 minutes away. So attention in the hog barn, let's go ahead and bring our Class 12 and Class 13 barrels into the makeup area. Class 12 and Class 13 to the makeup area. For those of you that were thinking about getting an Indiana State Fair ticket, we have a bargain for you. If you can bring 5 canned items to the exhibit building, they'll trade you those 5 canned items for a State Fair ticket. And what's most needed is spaghetti sauce, dry goods like hamburger helper, skillet dinners, canned meat, soups, any vegetables except green beans and corn. So again, 5 canned goods will get you an Indiana State Fair ticket so long as it gets here by Friday, July the 21st. So we are ready to go ahead and we'll begin our barrel show. We'll begin with Class 12. We have a single entry. And let's go ahead and bring Class 14 and Class 15 into the makeup area.
Just a single entry here in our lightweight Burke class, but a young man does a very good job out here, and a Burke bear that you have to appreciate a lot of things about. One that's got tons of spread and back shape to him, very stout out through his hip, and one that brings a lot of positives to the table. If you would, help me congratulate that young man on your job well done.
And in Class 12, our single entry exhibited by Drake Mott. And we'll keep him in the ring here so we can go for Champion Berkshire following this next class. So we're now in Class 13. We have 3 entries. Again, helping us hand out the awards and ribbons and banners is Addison Giesler from the Country Cougars 4-H in North Daviess, and Chloe Graber, our Indiana Poland China Queen.
Nice set of Burke Bears out here, and I think ones that bring a lot of good things to the table, yet present maybe some challenges. The combination bears a young lady there with the white shirt on, and I think that one's the most comfortable on his feet and legs. I think he's dense in his bone work, and you get on top of him, and he's got some spread and shape down his back, and puts it into a stout hip. You know, is he as good looking from his blade forward? No, but I think that one is just the most comfortable on his feet and legs. The young lady in the black shirt, 105, goes in second, and this one has a ton of extension from his blade forward. He's very bulky and massive up high. His structure concerns me, and just too far out on the corners. He's a high cut ability bearer. I guess I just like to see him go better there from behind. Young lady there in third has one that just maybe looks a little off today. When that tail's straight, just things don't balance, and today that hip looks a little steeper, looks a little rounder. That one looks a little down-headed. Congratulations, if you would, give all three of these young ladies a big round of applause.
Class 13, first place exhibited by Hannah Yoder, followed by Shaylee Graber and Campbell Cornelius. We're now ready for our champion Berkshire, and that banner is donated by the Odin Locker.
For champion and reserve Burke Bears, I think all three of these bring a lot of good things to the table, but I thought that last class had a lot of good things working for them. This is a pretty good pair we're going to keep together. Young ladies 1, 2 in the last class are going to be champion and reserve today. Give all three of these youngsters a big hand, if you will.
So your champion Burke exhibited by Hannah Yoder, and reserve champion exhibited by Shaylee Graber. Also Drake Mott from class 12. We're now ready for purebred Chester Whites. We have 2 classes, 1 in each class. And if we can go ahead and have class 16 to the makeup area and class 17 to the makeup area.
Very good bear here in the lightweight division. Young man does a good job, and I think this one's a projection and hopefully going to go to the state fair. That one's got tons of extension from his blade forward. He's really opened up in his chest with tons of shape down his back and into a very stout hip. Good Chester bear here in this class. Give that young man a big hand, if you will.
And exhibiting in class 14 is Daviess Schwarzenegger. And we're now ready for class 15.
Good Chester here in the heavyweight division. Young lady does a good job with them, and one that's just very big-footed. He's heavy bone. He's long-sided. He needs to come at you more opened up in his chest and laying back in his blade just a nickel. If you would, help me congratulate that young lady on a job well done.
And class 15 exhibited by Hannah Yoder.
good pair of bears here in our champion Chester Drive, and both these showmen do a very good job. One out here that just has more to him. He's got more punch, and in terms of cutability, just has more to him. That young lady will be our champion today. Let's give her a big round of applause. Give both these guys a big hand as they head on back.
And your champion, Chester, is Anna Yoder. And that banner is donated by the Stevens Family Farm. We're now ready for Class 16 Duroc. We have 2 entries in the lightweight division.
Here in the lightweight Durocs, both these showmen do a very nice job, and I think a good pair, and a guy can argue me either way. Young man in front of me is going to have our class winner, one that just better in his build, and I think I really appreciate that one's top shape and hip and hind leg, just kind of a problem-free Duroc that has several things working in the right direction. Young man's got one out here that's feeling good tonight. He's very agile. He's a big-footed barra, and one that's very good in his structure. He probably needs just a shot more punch up high, shot more going away. If you would, help me congratulate these 2 young men on a job well done.
So you have Duroc lightweights, the first place exhibited by Bennett Brower, and second place exhibited by Grant Madison. And Cash, are you still bringing yours? Cash Cornelius? He's coming? Okay.
Class 18 should be coming.
And let's go ahead and bring Class 18 to the makeup area. Class 18 to the makeup area. And Class 19. 18 and 19 to the makeup area.
good set of red bears in this class. And I think a pair at the top end that bring a lot of good things to the table. There's one that just simply has more everywhere. Maybe not the fanciest bear in the world, but I think a bear that brings, without a doubt, the most positives. That's the young man number 4 on the far side. That one's biggest footed. He's squares from his hock to the ground. I think he's the most comfortable on his feet and legs. He has the most shape up high, and he has the most turn to his rib, and he has the most forerib. Young lady there in second has one that just another one that just ain't going real well out here today, and he's a shot tighter in his forerib and tucked up in his flank. A hog that's got some extension from his blade forward, just needs his shot more fill, and I'd like to see his forerib and flank just open up and relax and get a good drive out here. Here in 3 and 4, these showmen do a good job out here as well, and I think it's close. The young man there in the blue-green shirt's going to be in third today. This one's just a high-cut ability bear that has some stoutness and spread through his hip. He's stout in his forearm. I don't know if he's maybe laid back in his blade far enough, but I think he brings a lot of good things to the table. Young man in the orange shirt does a very good job. Structures what sorts out 1 to 4. Just a little timid off of all 4. Congratulations, if you would. Give all our Duroc Bear exhibitors a big hand.
And from Class 17, first place exhibited by Lucas Hastings, followed by Addison Holstein, Cash Cornelius, and Kaysen Smith. We now have our Class 18. We have 4 entries in that Duroc. Let's go ahead and bring Class 20 to the makeup area. Class 20 to the makeup area.
Kind of an interesting class to put together. The class winner needs to win and do so pretty easily, and I guess 2, 3, and 4, how our guy wants to re-rack them, I'm not going to argue. Young lady with the pink bow in her hair wins the class, and a bear that's just the most opened up in his chest for. He's the stoutest in his forearm, and he's got the most extension from the blade forward. I think he's the best on his feet and legs, yet still has the most oomph and dimension on the top side of his skeleton. Like I said earlier, 2, 3, and 4 is where I can make a pretty good argument for each one of them to be second or fourth. Young lady here, 161, is going to be in second, and a bear that just has more shape up high. I think he is taller at the point of his shoulder than our hog in third. He doesn't want to go good enough off of either end, in my opinion. He's just a shot snug off of all 4. The young man there closest to me goes in 3. A bear that's very big-footed. He's very heavy boned. He's very stout skulled, and he's pulled apart the top of his blade. He is the lowest shoulder, the lowest headed one of the bunch, and he's just wanting to push up front, and I just don't think he's agile enough. I don't think his blade lays in him quite as well, but from his blade back, that's a good bear. He's got tons of shape, tons of stoutness out through his hip, and I think his hock sets in there properly. Young man does a very good job showing. Young lady rounds things out and does a good job as well. A bear that's just a shot generic. He's just a little plainer there in his neck, plainer there in his forerib, and shape up high. Congratulations. If you would, give all those kids a big round of applause.
So in Class 18, we have first place exhibited by Brayley Bennett, followed by Emma Yoder, Owen Barber, and Chloe Babry. For champion Duroc, we have back from Class 17. Oh, sorry, we have still a single entry in Class 19. Sorry.
Just a single entry in her heavyweight Duroc, and the young man does a good job. And you do have to appreciate this breed, and specifically this hog, in terms of one that ate well and converted and kept it all in a sound and functional skeleton. You know, he's towards the 1 o'clock range, 2 o'clock range, but there's a lot of horsepower and one of the better structured Durocs that's been through the ring. Congratulations. Give that young man a big hand.
So from Class 17, we have Lucas Hastings. And from Class 18, we have Brayley Bennett. And Lane Peachy. From Class 16 is Bennett Brower. And the banner for that is donated by Boyd Grain Farms.
If you would, please give all four of these youngsters a big round of applause out here, please. Good Duroc Bear show, and I guess two out of the middle class are the ones that just surface in my mind, and ones that are appropriate in their size. And you get them out here together. There's one that's just very good structured. He looks like a show bear. I guess here ahead of the Grand Drive, I'd give him a big bucket of water, let that rear flank drop just a shot. That young lady will be our champion. Congratulations to her.
And your champion Duroc exhibited by Brayley Bennett.
Reserve champion, that was a good class, and I think hogs that were very similar. There's a bear here that maybe not as quick in his moving, maybe not as sharp looking as her champion, but fundamentals, basics of build, and just squareness. And a guy would take a barn full of Duroc bears that look like this. I like this guy pretty well. That young man, number 4, is going to be reserve champion today.
And from Class 17, your reserve champion is exhibited by Lucas Hastings. We're now ready to move into Hampshires, and we have a single class of Hampshires. And if we could get Class 21 to the makeup area, Class 21 to makeup. And the banner for the Hampshire champion is donated by Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Kyle Cornelius.
just 3 Hampshires here, and I'll be honest, this breed maybe doesn't have a ton of numbers, but there's 3 of these I think bring a lot of good things to the table. Hogs that's first and second are ones that are tough to make as a breeder and tough to keep together as a showman, and like I iterated earlier, got to keep their feet and legs right, and there's one that's just more comfortable. Without a doubt, he's better out of his front end. Young lady there in the green or brown shirt is going to be our champion. A very, very good Barra. A young man has one that back in the pen I'm sure was probably talked about, and he's one I'm sure feeding every day. It is very, very fun. That one's hip and hind leg is on point. That is a dense rear leg, especially for the breed. He's very sharp from his blade forward, and then he has tons of turn. I guess where he goes second is he is the most hesitant out of his front end. He needs to open up there in his chest floor, kind of a typical Hamp trait. I like that Barra, and I ain't picking on him. That's just where he gets beat, in my opinion. The young man here in third just falls into a tougher class, but that's a Barra that I appreciate his balance, his build, his design, and he does a very good job showing him. If you would, congratulate all those guys on a good job. Well done.
And your champion Hampshire Barrow exhibited by Adeline Babrick, reserve champion by Blake Boyd and David Rimsberg. We'll now move into our Hereford division. We have 6 entries. And that banner is donated by John Casper and family. Let's go ahead and bring our Class 22 to the makeup area and Class 23 to the makeup area.
pretty good pair of Hereford bears here, and there's definitely some give and take, and a guy can make an argument either way. There's one that's got more back, he's got more punch, he's got more product to him, and there's one that I think is just a shade more comfortable, but is the rear leg exactly perfect, and so definitely some give and take. The one that suits me best, the young lady directly in front of me. I think this bear comes at you the best in his chest floor. I think he reads with enough top shape and stoutness out through his hip. He takes the longest step. Is he square going away? No, but I think he takes the longest, most appropriate step. This young man has one that does have the most power. He's got the most product, and he probably has the stoutest hip. I guess as bulky as he is up high, he comes at me narrower in his chest floor, and then he's just a shot rigid. He looks like he's been on a little bit of vitamin P, just a shot too long, and he's a little upright in his blade. He's a little snug going away, but that's a good Hereford bear. I do like him. Young man does a good job showing him. I think there's a lot of good things with that particular hog. Young man 203 just falls into a tough class. I think this one's fundamentals are good. That's a tall-shouldered, long-sided one that does have some extension. He needs to come at you with just a shot more punch and a shot more wolf, but a good hog in third. The next 3 or 4 we got coming out, these showmen do a good job with. The hog here in 4 is one that I'd like to see just sharpened up in his lower belly wall. One that's just a shot overdone, over-conditioned. The same thing can be said about the hog coming out in 5, and then the young lady rounding things out in 6 does a very good job as well. If you would, help me congratulate all those youngsters on a job well done.
And from Class 21 Herefords, and your Hereford champion, exhibited by Adeline Babrick, reserve champion by Rowdy Perkins, followed by Timothy Davis, Nathan Dosher, Isabel Davis, and Addie Claire Smith. We're now ready for our Class 1 and the purebred spots, and we have 2 entries in that division. And let's go ahead and bring our Class 24 to the makeup ring of Tamworth. Class 24 to the makeup.
Good pair of spot bearers, and these 2 showmen do a nice job with them. The young lady in the pink shirt needs to win the class, and one that just has more product and more turn to his rib. Looks like his show bearer, just a shot stouter, coming and going with a pretty good look from his blade forward. The young man on the far side has one that has kind of a different color pattern to him, but a bear that I sure appreciate that one's length aside. He's just a little bit plain on the top side of his skeleton, a little plain when you get him behind him. Congratulations. Please give those 2 youngsters a big hand if you will.
From Class 22, first place, Kendall O'Brien, followed by Reese Mott. We're now ready for Class 23. We have 5 entries in the second class of purebred spots.
a nice class of spot bearers, and this breed is another one that's tough to have them ready and have them right, and the one that combines the most positives is a young lady 168 here in front of me. I think that one looks the trimmest and best in terms of shape and extension from his blade forward. He's one that has a good set of running gears. I'd like to maybe tweak him when you step right in behind him, but of the class, he offers the most amount of positives. For second and third, I think it's close. The young man in the red shirt goes in second. That one has more shape and more oomph and more punch up high. A bear that's very big-footed. He's very heavy boned, and I think he just reads a shot fresher than our hog in third. The young lady does an exceptionally good job driving that bear. He's an absolute knucklehead out here, but I guess this one, his throat latch and his head just looks old, and he looks overdone, and it's tough. Ain't picking on him. He just looks towards the 2 o'clock range instead of the 12 o'clock range, but a good bear is driven extremely well. Young man on the far side goes in 4, and I think this bear has a lot of parts and pieces that you have to appreciate. That one's foot and bone and density is extremely good. Where he ties things together is just where he gets in trouble. He's a little funky how he steps there from behind. He's maybe not as fresh out of his blade. I think there's a lot of good things working in that particular bear. Falls in a class that there happens to be 3 or 4 good spots in this one. Young man in the green shirt does a good job, falls into a heater spot class. If you would, congratulate all these youngsters on a job well done.
So from class 23, your first place animal exhibited by Aubrey Ferguson, followed by Alex Hanna, Adeline Babrick, Colin Bennett, and David Rimsberg. We're now ready for our champion spot class. So from the first class, we have Kendall O'Brien, and from the second class, we'll have Aubrey Ferguson, and that banner is donated by Extreme Show Supply.
Good set of spot bears out here in our champion drive, and I think both of them bring a lot of good things to the table, but it's tough when you get them to the right market weight and keep their feet and legs underneath of them, have them looking good in terms of back shape and freshness up front. That's a tough combo to do. Young lady 168 is going to be our champion. Congratulations to her. We dropped the young man out there in second, and one that I talked in class and I like a lot of things about, and really, beat a hog that was sitting in third and fourth behind him. That was very, very good as well. Hog I like second best is the young man there in the red shirt. He'll be reserved.
So your champion spot exhibited by Aubrey Ferguson, reserve champion exhibited by Alex Hanna. Also in the ring was Kendall O'Brien. We're now move on to class 24 Tamworth. We have 3 entries, and we need class 25 to the makeup area. Class 25 to makeup.
Good trio of tan bears in this class, and one that lines up pretty logically, and I didn't mean to be going fast there. I guess it just lines up how it should, and the young lady there with the pink bow needs to win the class, and a bear that's just very sound. He's functional. He has the most spread and bulk up high, the best turn to his upper rib, and a stout hip, and that's tough to do with any breed, let alone a Tamworth. The young man there in second, if we could combine this bear as speed speed and his red bear is speed, it'd be the right speed. But he does a good job, and I think that one's got a lot of shape up high. He's not as he's a little too narrow at the ground to get any higher today, but he does a good job with them. The young man here rounding things out does an excellent job as well. Very good turn to his rib. A hog that's just a shot plane, and you step in behind him, maybe not as square going away. Congratulations. Very good job. Let's give all three of those kiddos a big hand.
And your champion, Tamworth, exhibited by Kinley Birch. The reserve champion to Lucas Hastings, followed by Drake Mott, and that banner is donated by John Casper and family. We're now ready for Class 25 Yorkshire. We have 4 entries. And let's go ahead and have our Class 26 to the makeup area. Class 26 to makeup.
Definitely an interesting class of York Barras, and a class that I've had them all from first to fourth, and the one that is going to win is the best pig, and he's not dressed up today, and he don't have his show clothes or his church clothes on, but you break him down, he is the best one. Young lady in the pink shirt is going to win the class, and I think our champion York Barra, one that's just good in his build. He has the most appropriate hip and hind leg. He has the stoutest skull with the most spread, and probably the most appropriate there in his body length. The young lady here in front of me has a bear that I like a lot of things about. That bear is 2 to 3 to 4 ribs too long, and I'm not a short back junkie, but he's so long that he just can't walk good enough up front. He's a little flatter footed, and the guys just don't have enough punch there in his center body to get him much higher. But she does a good job, and I like the bear, and a very good job. Well done in terms of skin and hair, fit, feel, and condition. This young man in a gray shirt goes in third. I think that's a long-bodied bear that reads with some top shape. That one's just a little bit generic and plain at the ground. He's rocked forward in his blade and not as comfortable there to get much higher. And then a young lady does a nice job as well. I guess I question that one's structure the most in this particular class. Congratulations. Give all those 4 kids a big round of applause, if you will.
So your champion Yorkshire, exhibited by Adeline Smith, a reserve champion by Meredith Hauser, followed by Nolan Brower and Shaylee Graber. We're now ready for class 26, and in that class we have 2 additions. So we've got 9 in this class. We need class 27 to the makeup ring. Class 27 to makeup. And for the champion Yorkshire, I skipped that banner. That was donated by Arms, Grain, and Livestock. Thank you.
Good set of lightweight crosses here, and a young man there with the all black bear needs to win the class, and the one that proportions the best. He has the most spread up high and puts it all in the soundest, most functional skeleton. I think that's just a good built, good made type of a bear, and the young man does a good job getting that one driven. 2 and 3 is where the decision lies, and I think it's close. The young man in the red shirt's going to go in second. That one is the biggest legged one of the class. It has the most punch and turn up high. Very good turn to his rib, and he's a bear that's got plenty of oomph and horsepower laid into him. He does need to get out and go better, and that's where the young lady Calico in third does. That one doesn't have enough punch, but that one is probably the sound. That one is the soundest one in relation to that pair. He's sound enough because he doesn't have enough muscle to restrict him, and so that's a good bear. If we could combine hogs 2 and 3, that's a good bear there to win the class. The young man does a good job, and this bear comes with some pieces. I guess he's very big and bowled up high. He's just a little rigid from behind and no bigger than he is. I question that one. The older he gets, is he going to be able to move good enough to keep showing? But a very good job, and the young kids do a great job there, 1 through 4. The hog we got dropping out next is one that I think it's the next one. The hog we got dropping out next is one that's just a little bit generic in his look, but I think she does a good job with him. He's a shot tighter in his forerib, tucked up in his flank, a hog that does read with some top shape, and one that if we need to work him up one more spot, we probably could. Young man coming out next has one that's just comes with a few more parts and pieces, I guess. He is one that's very shapely. He is long-bodied. I just like to see him tie everything together a nickel better. The hogs we have rounding out the class, kids do a good job with, ones that just need a few more groceries laid into them. Congratulations. Give all those kids a big hand, if you will.
So from Class 26 in our extra lightweight division, first place exhibited by Lucas Hastings, followed by Alex Hanna, followed by Tommy Parsons. The second with Alex Hanna with a help from Owen. Then Alina Winkler, Cohen Arms, Grant Arms, Hayden Tommy, and Jesse Bennett. We're now ready for our Class 27 lightweight. We have 4 entries. And if we could get Class 28 to our makeup area, Class 28 to the makeup area.
A very good class to sort through, and the middle pair is where the decision lies. The class winner is a young man in the blue shirt and a bear that looks like a show bear. His proportions, his density, and his look from the side is absolutely on point. He reads with the most shape up high and puts it all on the soundest and most functional skeleton. Here in 2 and 3 is where there's some give and take, and I think both these hogs bring a lot of good things to the table. Both of them I'd like to tweak in an area, and I think it's close. The dual showman over there is going to be your second place today. I think that's just a good pattern, good made bear. Hey, congratulations, young man. And then just a good set of hogs, a good bear there in that particular class that brings a lot of good things to the table. Young lady in the white shirt has the biggest footed, probably the biggest rear leg I've seen in a few weeks. And this one's stout. I'm sure as a baby he was an absolute freak. I guess he's came together just a little bit weird. I'd like to see him with a little more a fresher back, a little more center body. I'd like to see him blend together, but he's just so big-headed. He's big-boned. He just doesn't proportion out good enough for me. Young lady there in the gray goes in fourth here, and I think one that just a little more generic in his makeup. Congratulations, good set of bears in that class.
So for class 27, our first place exhibited by Bryce Bennett, followed by Camden Mott, Emma Yoder, and Jesse Bennett. We're now ready for class 28, and we have 4 entries in this lightweight class 3. And let's have class 29 to the makeup area. Class 29 to makeup.
Good class to sort through here, and one that needs to win pretty easily. Young lady here in front of me. I think this is a bear that combines many positives. That one's got the right kind of shape and spread up high, puts it on a sound and functional foundation. Very good bear, driven at the right pace out here today. I like that bear there to win pretty well here in this particular class. 2, 3, and 4 is where some decisions lie. The young lady in the blue is going to be in second, and that bear that's very shapely up high. He's got plenty of stoutness from behind. He's maybe wanting to waddle and not go good enough from behind, but I think he brings the most positives to the table, and she does a good job with them. Young man at the white bear, showing a white bear is tough to do. Showing a white bear is tough to do sometimes, but I think that one's build, balance, and angles is absolutely on point. And then the boar we have rounding things out just needs to fill out and quit ranting. Congratulations. Let's give all those kids a big round of applause.
So from class 28, first place exhibited by Addison Holstein, followed by Faith Fiqua, Jackson Brower, and Tyson Graber. We're now ready for our champion lightweight. So from class 27, we have Bryce Bennett. And from class 28, Addison Holstein.
Very good pair of lightweight crossbred bears here, and I think if this is any indication, things are about ready to get fun over the next 20 minutes here. But a good bear here to be our champion, and I think one that ties together a lot of good things. Hopefully he doesn't blow up here in the champion drive. That's a good bear there. Young lady's going to have her champion. Congratulations to her. We dropped the young lady in the blue shirt out for second, and one that I think has a lot of good things working for him. There's another one that hit me pretty hard in class, and I think that one's fundamentals, design, looks like a show bear, driven like a show bear. Young man in the blue is going to be reserve champion. Congratulations to him.
So your champion lightweight is Addison Holstein, and the reserve champion is Bryce Bennett. We're now ready for class 29. This is our medium weight, and we have 6 entries. Once again this year, we've been fortunate to have Alan and J.J. Brown provide live streaming for our animal shows each evening, and we appreciate their help. And if you want to watch it online, it is available if you choose to do so.
Very, very good set of bears here in this particular class again, and another one that needs to win and do so handily. Young lady's bear there is one that's on the right make and model. That one's build and balance, and another one that just doesn't need to be stubborn out here in our champion drive, but a good bear there to win this class. The young man's blue hog is one that's maybe not as dressed up as a few of them we've seen today, but fundamentals, basic and build and balance is absolutely on point. I think that bear is one that you just appreciate in terms of being sound and functional, yet still having some spread, dimension, and muscle on the top side of his skeleton. This young man has one that I like a lot of things about. When you get on top of him, there ain't enough punch in the seat of his pants, but that's a good bear coming at you. He puts it on a sound and functional skeleton, and the young man does a good job getting him driven. The black hog we have coming out next in 4 is one that is long-sided and has some extension. He's just a little more refined at the ground. He doesn't have enough punch in his forearm or rear foot to get much higher than 4th here today, but he does a great job showing, and my hat's off to him. The hogs we got rounding out 5 and 6, these kiddos do a great job with. Some hogs that I just like to see with a shot more punch there at the ground and a little more substance to them. Congratulations. Let's give all those kids a big hand, if you will.
And from Class 29, our first place shown by Addison Holstein, followed by Hayden Baker, Blake Boyd, Cale Baker, Sawyer Baker, and Grant Madison. We're now ready for Class 30, and we have 7 entries. And let's go ahead and have Class 31 to the makeup. Class 31 to makeup.
Definitely an interesting class to put together, and I apologize for taking some time, but you never know the implication that it's going to have here in a class or two and down the road. And so I think there's 4 bears out here that bring a lot of good things to the table, and there's a thing on each one of them that has to be fixed to make them lights out good. And one's an attitude, and one's being better built. One probably needs to be showed with their head higher, and so there's definitely some justifications. The combination bear is the black one in front of me, and that one's going to win the class. A bear that, I'll be honest, doesn't hit a guy very hard because he's all black. He maybe looks a shot plain, but when you break him down, that one's the best in his build. He's the densest in his bone work. He probably has the most shape up high in a hog that can just simply outlast the rest of the class. And I think a bear that you got to like, you want him in your barn. Is he the whitest chested bear in the world? No, but I think that one combines the most positives and puts it all on the soundest, most functional foundation. A bear that I like a whole bunch is that young man right there. And that bear is the biggest chested one of the class with the most shape. That head has to be up above his blade. As soon as it is, that rear leg squares up immediately. When his head drops, that right rear is too far on the outside of his skeleton. And that's probably the bear that gave me the most fits, because his head jacked up. That one's extremely, extremely good. His head down, the hind leg goes on the outside of his skeleton, and he's too wide from behind. The bear that beats himself is here in third, and this one is one that doesn't have enough foot and bone, but I could justify using him to win this class. I think that one's build, his balance, his angles is on point. He's opened up in his chest, and he's got enough shape up high. He's one that just the longer he goes, he wants to beat himself. And I've had bears and pigs like that at home, and that's tough to do. But he needs to be stouter in his bone work, and ultimately that's what puts him into third. The Calico is one that's just a shot more generic in his look, and I think that one, with a little more back shape and a little more dimension up high, and I ain't too sure that bear can win the class. And so there's a lot of good in all 4 of these hogs, and I think a guy could feed them a tick differently. I think a guy could work them a shot differently, and I think all these bears could be extremely, extremely good. Hats off to all 4 of those youngsters on a job well done. Good set of bears in that class. Hog coming out next in 5, or that one coming out next is one that I think has a lot of good parts and pieces. That one looks like a show bear that you want to have in your barn. He's stout skulled. He's opened up in his chest. When he turns and goes away, his hock's just too far on the outside of his skeleton. He just doesn't want to go good enough there from behind. The young lady coming out next has one that's got a big back and a big center body. He's a little generic there in his blade forward. He's maybe not quite as have as much punch going away. The couple hogs we have rounding out the class are ones that just need to be better built there at the ground. Congratulations, a very, very good class of bears to sort through. Please give all those guys a big hand, if you will.
From Class 30, your first place animal is exhibited by Taylor Ferguson, followed by Daviess Schwarzentroober, Cale Baker, Reese Mott, Cadence Birch, Elena Winkler, and Blake Barber. We're now ready for champion medium weight crossbred. So from Class 29, we have the animal exhibited by Addison Holstein, and from Class 30, exhibited by Taylor Ferguson, and that banner is donated by Kendall and Sons.
Good pair of bears here in this middleweight division, and we get them back out here together. Obviously, one had to drive for 20 minutes, and the other one didn't have to drive quite as long, but you get them out here, and they got the same kind of build. They got the same kind of density. There's one that's just simply sharper from his blade forward and no doubt has more chest floor. That young lady out of the first class is going to be our champion. Congratulations.
And your champion medium weight comes from Class 29, exhibited by Addison Holstein.
We dropped the bear that was second in class out, and a hog that's got a lot of good things working for him. There's one that definitely surfaced out of the deepest class of the day and probably the most challenging class, and I think he's a good bear. Young lady's all black one's going to be reserve.
And your reserve champion is exhibited by Taylor Ferguson. We're now ready for 2 classes of heavyweight crossbred. We'll begin with class 31. We have 7 entries in that class. And class 32 to the makeup, class 32 to the makeup area.
Good set of bears here in this class, and I think one that needs to win and does so pretty logically, and probably not the sharpest dressed one we've seen today, but the young man here in front of me is going to have our class winner. That bear is just big-footed, he's heavy-boned, and most importantly, he's the soundest structured. He's the most opened up in his chest, probably the best in his knee. Is he the freshest and cute one out here? Probably not, but that looks like a market bear that puts a bunch of product on a sound and functional foundation. The young lady, 168, goes in second, and a bear that I like a lot of parts and pieces about. He's another one that's just kind of a knucklehead to drive, and it's hard to get a good read on his blade. He's not as opened up in his chest or knee, but that's a bear that's got a ton of shape up high, probably as much shape and true product on the top side of his skeleton of any bear that's been through the ring today. He's one that just doesn't balance and blend quite as well. The blue bear here in third is one that his upper skeleton is very unique. Structure puts him in third. He's just a shot timid and tender, but that is the stoutest and squarest pin that's been through the ring today. Unfortunately, he can't motor quite as well, but a good bear. She does a good job driving him. 197, young man falls into a tough class. That bear is just a shot generic in his look, but man, that's a big center body with a big cage and lots of foot and bone. Young man does a good job with him. I like that bear. Just need to sharpen him up a nickel on the top side of his skeleton. The next couple we have coming out are ones that just need a little more punch, a little more turn to their upper rib, bust them open in their chest floor notch. Congratulations. Give all those kids a hand if you will, please.
So from class 31, our first place animal exhibited by Colin Bennett, followed by Aubrey Ferguson, Addison Holstein, Blake Boyd, Faith Fuqua, Brooklyn Wagler, and Kiana Smith. We're now ready for class 32 heavyweight, and there's 7 entries. And if we can get class 33 to the makeup, class 33 to makeup. The concession stand is planning to close, so if you want anything, you need to head that direction. Otherwise, they will be closing in the next few minutes.
Good pair of bears here at the top of this class, and I think a pair that's close. And when you make heavyweight bears that are still good on their feet and legs with that kind of punch is tough to do. Our class winner is the young man here in front of me. That bear, I think, is more comfortable out of his hip and hind leg. He's more flexible, and he simply takes a longer stride. I think he's got plenty of extension and look from his blade forward, and he reads with plenty of shape out of the back of his blade. The young man, 216, is in second, and man, that one has as much product and bulk as anything that's been through the ring. He probably has more foot and bone, and he has more forerib and flank. He looks a shot overdone, and I know he's a heavyweight bear, but he's so full, he's not wanting to motor and take a long enough step, and just simply, he doesn't take a long enough step out of his front end. The hog here behind me is one that just kind of falls into a heater class, and a good cutability bear. And I like his upper skeleton. Just when he turns and goes away, he wants to just shuffle those rear two shot differently from behind. The red one coming out next, and the rest of these we have coming are hogs that these kiddos do a good job with, and I appreciate the effort and work. Ones that can maybe just have a little more show ring punch or just a shot more center body and cutability to them. Congratulations, if you would, put your hands together for all those kids in that class.
So class 32, first place exhibited by Blake Boyd, followed by Alex Hanna, Grant Arms, Landon Arms, Brody Arms, Graham Madison, and Hannah Dent. We're now ready for our champion heavyweight cross. So we're working on champion heavyweight cross, and that banner is donated by Memmering Farms. So from class 31, we have Colin Bennett, and from class 32, we have Blake Boyd.
Very good pair of bears here in the heavyweight crossbreds, and it's tough getting them to this weight and then keeping them sound and functional, and both these guys have done a very good job. There's one that is probably towards the 1 o'clock time frame, but he is the soundest on his feet and legs and has tons of product, and I think he's very shapely and a super high cut ability hog. That young man here directly in front of me is going to have our champion heavyweight.
And from out of class 32 is Blake Boyd with the champion heavyweight. And we need Alex Hanna.
For reserve champion, it's very, very close, and these two bears are on the exact same make and mold and pattern. There's another bear here that I think's got a lot of good things working for him. This young man here, number 12, is going to be reserve champion. Congratulations to him.
And Colin Bennett is your reserve champion heavyweight. So we're on our last class of heavyweights, and then we will be moving into our grand champion. So for the Berkshires, we need Hannah Yoder. Chester's, also Hannah Yoder. Duroc, Brayley Bennett. Hampshire, Adeline Babrick. Hereford, Adeline Babrick. Spot, Aubrey Ferguson. Tamworth, Kinley Birch. Yorkshire, Adeline Smith. Lightweight cross, Addison Holstein, medium weight cross, Addison Holstein, and heavyweight cross, Blake Boyd. And if you have a reserve champion in any of those divisions, you need to be ready to get it to the ring if needed.
Nice pair of heavyweight heavyweight bears here, and good pair of boys out here. And apparently we got the one, I think the younger one rooting for the older one to win, and I ain't going to argue however you want to place them. But today, young man there in the gray is going to have our class winner. Congratulations to him. Give both those guys a big hand.
And that is Blaine Arms, and also in second there is Brock Arms. Our next class will be champion crossbred. So from the lightweight, we have Addison Holstein. From the medium weight, we have Addison Holstein. From the heavyweight, we have Blake Boyd. We have those three in running. Medium weight is Addison, as is the lightweight.
If you would, please congratulate all three of these kiddos here on a job well done or a champion crossbred bear drive. Been a good set of crossbred bears here, and there's a pair of them here that I like quite a bit, and in terms of make and model and build, and you know, similar to our grain gilt, they look like show pigs, and yet more importantly, they put that much mass and product on a sound and functional foundation. There's one here that I think, or there's a pair here that I like pretty well. Maybe not wanting to drive the best, but he is the best one. That young lady there in the gray shirt is going to be our champion. Congratulations to her.
And your champion crossbred comes from the medium weight division. Addison Holstein and Taylor Ferguson, if we can get your reserve champion in the ring, please.
For reserve champion, it's definitely close, and the lightweight Barra and the reserve middleweight Barra, I think both bring a lot of good things to the table, yet there's something I would like to maybe tweak on each one of them, and so there's definitely a lot of give and take, and I can make a pretty good argument either way. There's one that just came out of an extremely tough class and a deep class, and when you talk about making them sound, functional, and balanced, that one is very, very good. Young lady's all black one's going to be reserved. Congratulations to her.
And your reserve comes from the medium weight reserve champion, Taylor Ferguson. We can bring them. Let's go ahead and bring our reserves up so that we can also have those available. So there's plenty of room in the back pins for those. So in the Berkshire would be Shaylee Graber, Duroc would be Lucas Hastings, Hampshire Blake Boyd, Hereford Rowdy Perkins, Spot Alex Hanna, Tamworth Lucas Hastings, York Meredith Hauser, and the cross is here. So we have in the ring Adeline Babrick, Second animal of Madeline Babrick. Kinley Birch. Anna Yoder. Second animal of Hannah Yoder. Chester White. Adeline Smith. Duroc with Brayley Bennett. And the crossbred with
Few things here as we get ready to wrap things up here tonight. If you would, all the kids out here, give them a great big round of applause for a job well done. Excellent Barra show. Next thing, I don't know what time it is, but we've sorted through a good bit of hogs in a pretty quick fashion, very well organized, and I wanted to give every kid a fair look. But the organization here, the folks in the ring, the folks in the back, the guys up at the announcer stand do an excellent job here. Please, please, please get a big round of applause for all these guys putting together a whale of a good show. And lastly, it takes a lot of money to do what you guys have here. I've never been here pulling up the drive. I seen one building, and I thought, man, hopefully I'm at the right spot. And then you get back here, and you guys got some absolutely gorgeous facilities. This ain't everywhere in the country. I dredge a bunch of different states all over the United States. You guys got a heck of a good one, and that takes a lot of fundraising. That takes a lot of leadership. That takes a lot of people being able to get along with each other to make that happen. And my hat's off. Whoever's in charge of all that, I have no idea who they are. Please tell them thank you and a job well done. They do a lights out. Give them a round of applause, please. We get them out here together. I've talked long enough. There's a bear that needs to win, has to win, and without a doubt, the best bear here, young lady's crossbred, is going to be grand overall.
And the crossbred is exhibited by Addison Holstein. And Aubrey, if you'll bring your reserve champion cross in, or Taylor, excuse me.
For Reserve Grand, I think, could go a couple different ways, and I thought there was a division that was very deep and very good, and then there was a class that you absolutely had to surface out of, and they're going home tonight. I will be thinking about the hog in second, third, and fourth in that particular class, and that's the reason it's so critical to be able to make it out of class and then simply outlast the competition. This one did. He did it in a smoke show. That black one's going to be Reserve Grand.
And your reserve grand is exhibited by Taylor Ferguson, who comes from the crossbred division. And the grand champion barrel banner is donated by Plainville Christian Church. And the reserve grand champion barrel is donated by Kenny and Claire Schwartzentruber family.
Definitely good purebreds here to work into the top five, and there's one that beat some good ones in that division. And is this hog perfect? No, but for the breed, he's very, very good. Young lady Spot's going to be third overall. Congratulations to her.
And your spot is exhibited by Aubrey Ferguson. And Alex, if you've got your reserve spot in, you can move forward.
I remember the reserve spot, the one that I like next best, beat a couple pretty good ones in that particular division, and I think a hog that in terms of fundamentals, basics, and build is absolutely second to none. Young lady's Durock's going to be 4th overall. Congratulations to her.
And that is exhibited by Brayley Bennett. And Lucas, if you want to move your Durock forward.
Fifth overall, it gets to be pretty close, and we drop the young man's reserve Durock out, and I think that's a bear that's extremely good, and he pushed our champion pretty well. Then there's a young lady here that breed for breed has an awfully good one and had to beat a very good one that's sitting in reserve. Young lady's Hamp's going to be 5th overall. Congratulations to her.
And that is exhibited by Adeline Babrick. Congratulations to all the Barrow exhibitors, and thank you for bringing in the ring on a timely manner. And we're ready to move on to showmanship. And we have several classes of showmanship to complete. We have 2 classes of clover. And if you're in class, the first class, show class 1 of clover, we have 7 entries. So we do have 7 in each class. When we call the second class, if you are not listed on either class and you want to participate in Clover Showman, which is for grades 3, 4, and 5, then bring your animal when the second class of Clover is called. Okay, again, we're starting on Clover Showmanship. If you're listed on Class 1, please come to the ring and into the make ready area. Again, if you're not listed any place in Clover Showman and you would like to participate, come to the second group in Clover and we'll get you included. So in first group, we have Lucas Hastings, Brayley Bennett, Faith Fuqua, Kinley Birch, Blaine Arms, Nolan Brower, and Tommy Parsons. So if, again, that is the group that you're supposed to be in, please come to the makeup area right away. So again, Clover Showman in Class 2, please come to the makeup area. Class 2 Clover Showman. And again, if you are not on the list and you want to participate and you're in Clover, you come ahead and bring your animal. We'll get you involved.
Excellent group of showmen here in this this first group, and I've seen them all through the show today, and I'm not gonna run through showmanship, but I've seen enough to know who we're going to keep throughout the day and who we're going to send back. What I am looking for is very good eye contact, control the hog. I want to see several passes in front of me, give me a chest view and a rear view, and just come out of the gate fired up, ready to win. 2 we're going to bring out of this class, driven a good set of hogs, done a good job all day today. Young lady in the pink bow and the young lady in the pink bow over there. So congratulations, and give everybody a hand as they head on back.
And thank you for participating, and those staying are Cinley Birch and Brayley Bennett. Also participating was Lucas Hastings, Faith Viqua, Blaine Arms, Nolan Brower, and Tommy Parsons. So if you're in the second group, we're ready to send you into the ring, so you need to be getting up here as soon as you possibly can. So if you're in Clover Showman Class 2, if there's any more clover coming, you need to be waving to us and move in this direction. So let's have Class 1 of the Junior Showman to the makeup area. Class 1, that would be grades 6 through 8 of Junior Showman to the makeup area.
Keep 2 out of this particular heat, and kiddos has done a great job all day today. 2 we're going to keep is the 2 that made the most passes in the center, the 2 directly ahead of me. If you would, give all 4 of these guys a big round of applause, if you will, please, on a job well done.
So participating in this second class was Brock Arms, Sawyer Baker, Kendall O'Brien, and Meredith Hauser. Now for Clover Showman, we've got Brayley Bennett, Sinley Birch, Sawyer Baker, Meredith Hauser, and that plaque is donated by Tom and Marsha Boyd.
Excellent set of showmen to fire things up with, and a very, very good set. And we've been through enough hogs today, and they've been in the rings enough times. I'm going to keep things moving in showmanship. A champion today is a showman that's driven a very good set of hogs. More importantly, at all times, she's got them driven in the right spot. And like I said a little bit ago, to win here tonight, we're going to come out of the gate ready to win. Eyes are going to be zoned in, ready to win. I know it's getting late. And so we're going to keep her moving. The one that needs to win, absolutely been dialed in throughout the entire night. This young lady with the pulling is going to be our champion. Good job. For reserve champion, it's close, and we got one that maybe started off better throughout the day, and we got one that's finishing a shot better, and I don't know if she's driving that barra or following them, and so there's some give and take for reserve and third overall. Right now, the one that I think is doing the second best job is the young lady with the York. Young lady with the Thames going to be in third. Congratulations to all these guys. Let's give them a big hand.
So in Clover Showman, we had first was Brayley Bennett, followed by Meredith Hauser, Senley Birch, and Sawyer Baker. And thank you all for participating in Clover Showmanship. We're now ready with our first class of junior showmen. That would be showman grades 6, 7, and 8. Jack Brower, Adeline Smith, Lane Peachy, Birch, Bryce Bennett, Shaylee Graber, Emma Yoder, Grant Arms, Cale Baker, so the second class of junior showman needs to be in the makeup area. Second class of junior needs to be in the makeup area.
Excellent group of kiddos in this heat, and yeah, there's plenty of hogs out here in this size ring, but we might as well just get right down to it and throw them all out here. The ones that need to be kept, find that open position, and as big of a ring as we, or long of a ring as we had, we're still looking, in this particular area, and the three we're going to bring back and re-rack are the ones that just simply made the most passes in front of me. Going to keep the young man here with the York, that young man, and then the young lady there in the green. Congratulations. Let's give all these kids a great big round of applause on a job well done today.
So Cadence Birch and Bryce Bennett will be back. Also, we have in here Shayla Graber, Cale Baker, Grant Arms, Emma Yoder, Lane Peachy, Blake Barber,
That's the two I added.
and Brent Barber. We're now ready for our second group of junior showmen. Jesse Bennett, Aubrey Ferguson, Adeline Smith, Jesse Bennett, Chloe Babrick, Brody Arms, Isabel Davis, Colin Bennett, Hayden Baker, Aubrey Ferguson, Kason Smith, Owen Arms,
Once again, plenty of hogs in this class, but the three going to keep surface and do so somewhat logically, and like I've said 3 or 4 times, and I mean it, As soon as you hit the gate, dialed in, ready to win, these three have that look in their eye, do an exceptionally good job out here. That young man there with the black gilt is going to come back. The young lady there in the green shirt's going to come back. And the young lady with the spot bear is going to come back. Congratulations. Let's give all these kids a big hand as they head back.
So Colin Bennett. Aubrey Ferguson. Okay, senior showman, one and only call. There's plenty of room in the makeup area, so if you want to participate in senior showmanship, grades 9 through 12, head this direction, please. And the champion junior showman banner is donated by Comeback Vet Service.
Please put your hands together for the set of showmen out here. All six of these guys have done a great job throughout the entire day, and I sincerely mean that. And then we get them out here for showmanship. I intentionally stood there for a reason. That's about as narrow of a pass as you'll ever have to make, and make do with what you got. And the one that it wins, he absolutely did that. He's been lights out throughout the entire day. An extremely good showman. If you need any points, tips, and tricks, I would ask him. That young man in the blue shirt is going to be your champion. Congratulations to him.
That is Bryce Bennett. Congratulations, Bryce.
2 and 3 is close, and both these showmen are on the exact same showing style, and there's not much differences between them. And I think it comes down to personal preference and which hog's just simply driven better the longest, and a guy could make a pretty good argument either way. A young man here is going to be second. That young man is going to be third. Congratulations to all of them. Let's give them a big hand.
It's Cale Baker, followed up with Colin Bennett. Also participating was Chloe Babrick, Aubrey Ferguson, and Cadence Birch. That completes our junior showmanship, and we have one class of senior showmen to complete. And seniors, good luck. I'm done talking. So if you don't have a program out here, we have Addison Holstein, Tyson Graber, Landon Arms, Taylor Ferguson, Hannah Yoder, Blake Boyd, Owen Barber, and Adeline Babrick. And Roddy Perkins. The chairs for senior showmen are donated by Old National Bank.
Excellent group of senior showmen out here, and last time on the mic tonight, and we still got a big crowd around. Please give all these kids a great big round of applause on a job well done. I'm sure a few of these guys, it's probably their last time in the ring, 10th year, and maybe hanging up the cleats after the night, and just tell them congrats, and it's quite an accomplishment. You guys got an excellent set of leadership here in this county, a phenomenal set of kids, and tried to move through things pretty well here. But an excellent set of kids, and I truly mean that, and that is from the parents and grandparents and everybody around ringside. And so thank you very much for raising an excellent set of kids. Get them out here, and there's a pair of these showmen and a trio of them that I assumed was going to be out here, and I assumed was going to go 1, 2, and 3. then they line up kind of exactly what I thought in my mind, and I wanted to take time just to do it right, or felt like I did it right. And the one that's been the most consistent throughout the entire day, and had some hogs blow up a couple different times, yet never got rattled. And there was one that was starting to work up a little bit, got that thing cooled back down, and placement's been on point. Eye contact has been on point. She's had a great day. That young lady is our champion. Congratulations to her. 2 and 3 and the hog, or not, the showman that's reserved today is a showman that's done a lights out good job. And there's been a couple different times where I caught her without the eye contact that our champion had. That's nitpicking a very good showman. Both these girls are very, very good. That one's our reserve champion today. That young lady with the Black Hogs, 3rd overall. Young lady with the Chester is going to be 4th overall. Congratulations. God bless. Thanks for having me.
And thank you very much, Kyle. So we have Addison Holstein, senior showman, followed by Adeline Babrick, Taylor Ferguson, Hannah Yoder, also participating were Landon Arms, Blake Boyd, Owen Barber, and Rowdy Perkins. And to all you swine exhibitors, thank you for your courtesy and timeliness in getting to the ring. It helps make the evening work great. And my guess is somewhere along the line there's some work to do to change the arena, so you may want to help that as well. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night for the cattle show.